There's nobody that met Gio that he didn't have an impact on.
Jalen says Giovanni was tripping, telling them, "I am a demon, and I will wreck this car," and says he will kill them all as he tries to open up the door while the car is still moving. Zachary, the driver, pulls the car over onto the side of the road on his knife, and he had a blade, but this knife was still in the sheath, never took it out. Said that Giovanni gets out of the car and begins running southbound in the southbound lanes of I-75.
Bad things about my nephew being a gang member and in the Bloods and all that, doing drugs. My nephew, a few months ago, which I will leave right here, my nephew was just getting baptized and he just got saved. So, and I will leave all the comments right here from the text messages that my nephew has sent over time. It's not right and it's not okay. And we are just trying to grieve and mourn the loss. And so is my sister. And she's under tremendous stress right now.
To reconnect with his biological dad's side of the family. The last they saw of him was him getting into the car. They were planning to pick him up on their way back to North Carolina. Instead, 20 minutes later, Bridget getting a text asking for help that she didn't see until that morning.
It felt like somebody was standing on my chest. It felt like I couldn't really breathe.
She immediately began searching and says,
"Since news broke about Giovanni's case, his name has gripped headlines across the nation. But why does this story stand out? For many, Giovanni became America's nephew, as his family described him, a young man who had recently turned 18 and graduated high school, and whose sudden death has left so many questions hanging in the air. Now, for the first time, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office is giving us a timeline of Giovanni's final hours. They've confirmed that he was in the car with two cousins and a friend. If you've been following along with me, then you know I have previously identified that in another video. And if you haven't checked that out, then be sure to check out the previous coverage. But this is the first time that the Manatee County Sheriff's Office has officially named them and confirmed those relationships publicly. They've also released video showing Giovanni shortly before his tragic death, hoping to shut down some of the public rumors and speculation that has been going on online and in news articles. So immediately after this press conference was released, some of Giovanni's family spoke out from his mom's side and his dad's side. Now, his dad, as you know, if you've been following the case on my channel, is currently incarcerated. As far as what he's incarcerated for, how long he's going to be there, that has not yet officially been revealed. But Giovanni's biological dad, his aunt, did come forward, and she previously made a post. So today, after this press conference was released, she made another post. And what she said was, "Lord, all the humiliation my family went through, our God, will never fail us. I'm so sorry this happened to you, Gio. We love you dearly." And to his family, we could have all came together and figured this out as a family. But hey, I'm praying for you guys every single day. And I'm so sorry. Seriously, rest in paradise, Neff. I'll see you later, baby. And free his dad, praying for you. Family matters first. So this is from Giovanni's paternal aunt, which is his dad's sister. She made this status today, which is August the 19th. Then also his paternal uncle, who previously I shared, he made a post as well. He said, "God sat high and looked low. So sorry and wish this never happened. Giovanni gonna always live through us. This took a lot out of us. But on another note, if you get deleted off my page, you did too much. It was okay to share it and try to help, but putting an input on things you don't know about." Then he went on to make another status, and then this one he said, "And forget all y'all who wanted them to lock my nephews up," referring to the cousins who were in the car with Giovanni after he was picked up in a cage, "my homeboy and my stepbrother. Forget all y'all who hate it happened, but it's still rest up Giovanni. The Barry side truly miss and love you." So this is from Giovanni's paternal side of the family. These posts was made when the press conference was released. They were sharing the press conference, and making statuses in regards to the backlash that their family has been receiving. So they now feel as though their family is cleared and the public owes them an apology. What are your thoughts about that? Giovanni's paternal aunt, the same one she reshared a status that was made, and it said Zach, Latrell, and Jalen all set Giovanni up. We want to know if Gio had a significant amount of cash on him. Nothing about this story makes sense, and that wasn't no regular Mary Jane they gave him. It either had something in it or the two most popular drugs in this part of Florida right now. The three males said an altercation occurred at some point, so did y'all hurt him? So this was the post that the aunt reshared, and what she said was, I'll say this and pretty much be done with it. You mess with my nephew, stepbrother, friend of family, they will protect themselves. So mess around and find out if you want to. Long live Gio. So she just made this status and she's been responding and making comments. Now, as far as the paternal side of the family, it doesn't appear that Giovanni's grandpa or his grandmother has made anything public, but they could have made a status that was private or, just to their family. But publicly, I haven't seen anything because people have been inquiring if the grandpa who he called that night has said anything publicly. Now, Giovanni's maternal side, his mom's side of the family, one of his cousins, and she's in the previous video that I uploaded, she shared a status, and what the status says was, ain't no way I'm gonna ever kick my own family out of car while they're tripping on anything. They didn't tell nobody. They didn't try and get help for him no matter how stuff played out. Nobody should be trying to make excuses for them boys. And she reshared it and she just said, thank you, people be slow for real. Now, his other cousin, who was went on the news, and she's been the family advocate. She's been speaking out on behalf of the family. Again, she reshared a post, and it said, it's been brought to my attention that the folks of this county that have stood 10 toes against every single person who loves Giovanni believes there's been a change of heart on our end. Let me make something very clear. I don't care what a police report say. I don't care what anybody says. Y'all can spin it whatever sorry way y'all want. The moment y'all picked him up, you became responsible in making sure he arrived safely to his destination. I was not there, so I cannot speculate on what happened, but I will say God sees all, and my opinion will never waver. No matter what the outcome is, in my eyes, y'all should be held accountable, and nobody can ever make me feel differently. He trusted y'all, and y'all let my godson down. Y'all failed him, period, point blank. All y'all had to do was pick up a phone and call for help or go knock on the very door y'all watched him walk out of to get in the car. Now, and she said, you'll forever be in my eyes. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Tuesday. So this is what the godmother, she shared. And then the cousin, who has been the spokesman for the family, she said, hello, 3 people always guilty in my eyes, and forever. Forget y'all forever. So this is the status from his maternal side of the family. So now I'm going to go ahead and play some of the press conference, and stick around because I'll be speaking about other parts.
But before I get started, I do want to say that our prayers continue to go out to Bridget, the mother of Giovanni, and the entire family as they struggle during this very difficult time. And we pray that blessings are bestowed upon them, and we're here to hopefully give them some information that will give them closure at some point. Before I get to where we're at in the investigation currently, I think it's important to go back and start from the beginning. So on Thursday, July 31st, there's communications between Giovanni and his cousin, Latrell Hearn, about Latrell picking up Giovanni, who's in Charlotte County, and taking him back to Brevard County where Latrell lives. They're trying to figure out the details. At 5:41 p.m., Latrell texts that he's going to have to use his grandmother's car which is a white Malibu. At 8:30, they're still texting each other. They text about smoking weed. Giovanni says that I haven't had a smoke in a while because of court stuff going on in North Carolina. And he goes on to say, I definitely need a smoke. At 10:08 p.m., Latrell, Jalen Washington, and Zachary Cummings start heading toward Charlotte County. Zach Cummings is the driver of the white Malibu at the time. During interviews, Latrell tells detectives that not long into the drive, they start smoking weed in the car, and Giovanni starts tripping. They stop the car at an unknown location along River Road before they got to I-75 because Giovanni needed to use the bathroom. Latrell says that Giovanni is acting out and raging before getting back into the car. They continue driving north on I-75, and at this point, they're about 26 miles away south of State Road 70. At 1:55 a.m., Giovanni sends his mother a text saying help. At 1:56 a.m., he sends another message that says help, followed by me. Jalen says Giovanni was tripping, telling them I am a demon and I will wreck this car, and says he will kill them all as he tries to open up the door while the car is still moving. This happens while they're in Manatee County, close to State Road 70. Zachary, the driver, pulls the car over onto the side of the road on the shoulder, the northbound I-75 on the east shoulder of State Road 70. Jalen and Zach are in the front seats, and they hear that Giovanni has a knife. He's carried a knife. He had two knives. He had a folding pocket knife, and he had a blade, but this knife was still in the sheath, never took it out. They said that Giovanni gets out of the car and begins running southbound in the southbound lanes of I-75. They see him in the middle of the northbound lanes and almost get hit by a truck. This is the last time they see him. He left behind his backpack and cell phone, so they took that and placed it onto the side of State Road, or I-75 at State Road 70 at the entrance ramp on the east side. At 2:26 a.m., Latrell calls his grandfather to let the grandfather know that Giovanni got out of the car. At 2:27, Latrell calls Bridget, Giovanni's mother, but there's no answer. We know that they continue northbound on I-75. We have them stopping at the Flying J truck stop in Hillsborough County off the I-4, and you can tell by their phones that they eventually make it home to Brevard County. At approximately 6:50 a.m., Latrell calls Bridget again. She answers, and he gives her the information on what transpired that night. At 7:13, Bridget calls the Manatee County Sheriff's Office to look for Giovanni on I-75. She says, from the 911 call that we collected, I received some missed calls from my son this morning. He was being picked up by a relative, and I was told that they left him on the side of the highway. That it was some type of an altercation and a knife was involved. She asked if a deputy could do a wellness check and make sure that he's okay. The dispatcher responds, you mentioned a possible altercation, but can you tell me again exactly what happened? She states, so I'm getting this from people who were there. He said they were in the car, and I guess they had given my son some weed, and my son doesn't normally do any drugs. I guess they had given him some weed, And then he started to freak out and said he wanted to get out of the car. And they were like, hey, just calm down, thinking maybe it was the drugs he was taking. They kept saying, calm down and everything will be okay. And then I guess he got out of the car to go to the bathroom, and that's when I received the text saying, Mom, help, in that time frame, she said. And then he said that he continued to freak out and didn't know what was going on. They left him behind on I-75. Bridget is heading northbound on I-75 to try to locate her son. A deputy responds to that area, but finds no pedestrian on the interstate. At 7:21, a truck driver who was checking the load on his truck, it's a sod truck, pulls off in that same area on the east side of I-75, northbound, sees the backpack, picks it up. He travels to Tampa with the backpack. Bridget sees that the phone is moving, but does not know that it's a truck driver that actually has the bag and has the phone. She eventually calls Tampa PD, and an officer responds to the area where the truck driver was doing some work, recovers the cell phone and the bag. This is about 9:21 when TPD recovers the phone and the bag. At 9:28, Charlotte County Sheriff's Office opened a missing person case. And we also learned that Charlotte County reached out to Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and they were instrumental in interviewing all the passengers in the vehicle, and as this investigation unfolded. They voluntarily give Brevard County the vehicle, the white Malibu that they were in. Brevard County processes the vehicle and finds no foul play, no blood, nothing, no evidence whatsoever inside that vehicle. Charlotte County reaches out to us once again to check to see if Giovanni had been admitted to any hospitals or possibly was arrested. And there was no sign of Giovanni in our system. On Monday, August 4th, Charlotte County requests the assistance of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office as they search the area that the trail says they dropped off Giovanni on I-75. They do an extensive search east of the interstate in wooded areas on both sides of State Road 70 and find nothing.
Okay, so one of the questions that keep coming up is why didn't Giovanni text his stepfather, who previously his mom, when she did the exclusive off-camera interview with People, she said that the stepfather had saw him out the door. He knew that he left with the cousins that night. Why didn't Giovanni, if he needed help and if he couldn't reach his mom, why didn't he text the stepfather? So there's a public group for Giovanni, or there was, and in that group there was a question that was posed. So we know Giovanni texted his mother as well as tried to call her. Do his phone records show him trying to call Jeremy, the mom's fiance, Jeremy's mom and dad? It was Jeremy's parents' house he left from in Englewood. Forgive me if this question has already been posed. So that's what they're saying. And Giovanni's aunt, who in the beginning of the video and in previous videos, I've shared some of the posts and videos that she's made. She said, honestly, we are thinking he texted the most recent people. Keep in mind, his family said they wasn't there. So they're speculating and they're giving their best guess as well.
On Tuesday, August 5th, Charlotte County comes back to Manatee County along with a volunteer team that have good cadaver dogs. Also, the Charlotte County Aviation Unit was flying overhead. We had 3 of our detectives assisting them with searching the areas that they wanted to search that day. After about 4.5 hours, they told our detectives that they're not really sure that Giovanni is in this area. Now, why is that important? We know that he got out of the car on River Road before he got onto I-75. So as investigators, they're starting to think maybe he never made it to State Road 70. Now, I can't speak for the Charlotte County detectives. I can't speak for Sheriff Permel. But They know the backpack was there, but there's no sighting of Giovanni in that area at this time. So Charlotte County is still searching, and they're searching hard in the area of River Road and I-75. But we know that that's not where he was at. On Friday, August 8th, at about 3:15 p.m., Manatee County Sheriff's Office receives a call about a body located in a pond right off of I-75 at the exit ramp to State Road 70. We learned that a friend of the family had been searching the area and had located the body. I sent my entire homicide team out there along with their sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and major to process this scene. The medical examiner investigator also responds to help with the processing of the body. We do a deep x-ray, a scan of the body. The ME does that night. There's no signs of any trauma to the body. There's no indication that he was shot. There's no indication that he was stabbed. There's nothing at that time that helps us determine cause of death. On Saturday, August 9th, detectives and crime scene techs go back out to the scene. They conduct another thorough investigation of the area, search of the area. Our drone unit also flew over the pond and the surrounding area, but didn't find anything of any value. On Sunday, the District 12 medical examiner performed an autopsy of the body. Preliminary indication was no signs of trauma or foul play, but the cause of death is still undetermined. On August 11th, my dive team goes back out to the pond to search it once again to make sure that we did not miss anything in the initial searches. They find nothing. We're trying to pinpoint exactly where Giovanni got out of the car. That's our main focus. My detectives reach out to Brevard County, who help us reach out to Giovanni's cousin, Jalen, Latrell, and Zach, and we request that they interview again with us. They do so freely. We respond to Brevard County, and we interviewed the three. They give us the exact same story that they gave Brevard County. They also agreed to come back to Manatee County to help us pinpoint exactly where they pulled off the side of the road and where Giovanni got out of the car. So that brings us to today. We started reviewing all of the FDOT cameras in the area. This is complicated at times because these cameras, they will move at certain parts of the day. They're not always focused on one particular area. So we started to do our best to locate any movement whatsoever that would give us an indication that Giovanni was alive at that time. And we found Giovanni at about 2:18 a.m. on the night in question on I-75. And we want to show that video now. It's difficult to see at first, so bear with us. Sir. Yep. So bear with us. Yep. This is the 44th Avenue camera located about 1.2 miles north of State Road 70. Right here, it's hard to tell, but you can see some movement over here on these are the southbound lanes. He's coming across right here. You see a truck having to get out of the way. He'll clear up a little bit here in a second. He has on a white shirt. You can see him coming across. Here's the truck trying to avoid hitting him. You can point him out right here. He's coming eastbound now. He's walking back westbound. And there's a concrete barrier right here. And down here is where the pond is. So then we continue to check cameras. And we get lucky at a Lowe's, which is located on the west side of State Road 70. We have a camera that's pointing at the embankment now that he comes down at 2:19 a.m. Play that, Ben. I want you to stay focused right here. Now that's a steep embankment. He's coming down there almost an uncontrollable sprint. If you've ever gone down a hill, you know what I'm talking about. But the pond is right here at the edge of that embankment. I mean, the important thing that I want you to see, there's no one chasing him. There's no one around him. In fact, when he's coming down that embankment, the vehicle is 2 miles away. So there's no one in this area with Giovanni. There's no one that's chasing him. He's by himself. And what we don't know is what happened when he hit that pond. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. The death is undetermined. So we know that we don't have anyone that comes down that embankment after him. They don't look for him. He's there, we believe, until he was located by the family friend on Friday, the 8th. We really don't know what happened once he got into the pond. And once again, I think anything that I say would be pure speculation. We're still waiting for the ME to determine the cause of death, and we're also still waiting for the toxicology. So we don't have all the answers. We know this is the last sighting of him that night. I'm going to ask.
Has the family reviewed this footage and the timeline and everything?
I think Bridget just is here now. I think that, I don't know if she's reviewed the video. I know the detectives were on their way, but she's here. She's here now.
Sheriff Wells, could you remind me again, were all three individuals in the car, are they all cousins of Giovanni?
No, I know Latrell is a cousin, and I think that Zach is definitely not, and I think that Jalen's just a good friend.
Okay, so Zach and Jalen are good friends.
Yeah.
Was the driver of the car, was he under the influence?
Not that we know of.
Okay.
We have no indication of it.
Okay.
Sheriff, can you talk about, we know that Charlotte County was the lead investigator agency in this. How hard is that when Manatee County was just a stop and we don't know at that point so early on that he's actually?
Yeah, I mean, our detectives were working with them, and Charlotte County was keeping us up to date. And, you know, we searched with them on that, on the 4th and the 5th. A lot of time was spent on the east side. And even though the helicopter was flying the entire area, you know, they were really focused on that east side. And it's heavily wooded, it's wet, and they believe that that's where he would have gone. And we have no reason to dispute that. And I think that, you know, they did exactly what we would do. They're searching. They know that River Road is also, because when they're searching in Manatee, they're also searching River Road. They're parallel. Everybody's searching in both areas. So those are the two areas of concern.
Sheriff, you mentioned that there were possibly drugs involved. Were those drugs found and tested for anything else?
When the vehicle was processed by Brevard, there was still some marijuana residue in there. I don't know if they analyzed that or not.
Sheriff, so at this point, is anyone charged with anything?
No.
Could anyone be charged given the drugs were involved?
We don't have any way of proving who smoked what. We don't know who was smoking in their car, so I would say no. I mean, really the focus right now is to see what comes back from toxicology. Is there going to be something that alerts us to another drug that we don't know about? Any more questions? Yes.
I know you said you didn't want to speculate, but is the thinking maybe it was some kind of different weed, synthetic marijuana, get a bad reaction, became paranoid, and then accidentally, stumbled down the hill and drowned?
Well, I don't want to speculate because I don't think that's fair to the family. I don't know what happened. So I want to wait for the toxicology report to come back to see if there was something in there that's alarming that points to something more that we need to investigate.
Can you talk about, too, I know we as reporters know, but can you tell the public just how long the toxicology report takes?
I mean, sometimes they can take up to 2 months or longer. I mean, we are asking them to rush it, and we would like to get them back sooner than later. I just don't know how long that's going to take.
I know there was some concern that because of the conditions of life had been there for so long, that the toxicology report might not be complete and they might not be able to get a full picture. Is that still the thinking? Or?
I know that they were able to get a sample. I don't know how good that sample is going to be. But they did get a sample, and they sent that off to be analyzed. Anything else?
Or
Yep.
is it possible he got clipped by the vehicle and maybe he doesn't show that, but he was hurt and then went down the hill?
We can only go by the medical examiner's report that it doesn't indicate that there were any injuries to the body. I mean, we know he was very close to being hit, a couple of times, but we didn't see any trauma to the body, and I don't think the ME did as well.
Thank you.
And it sounds like with this, just from hearing you talk and from hearing other stuff from Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, or Brevard County Sheriff's Office, those in Brevard have been fully cooperative.
They were very cooperative with Brevard and with us, and like I said, they came back to Manatee County on their own to help us pinpoint where they pulled off on the side of I-75.
There's been a lot of speculation online, change.org petition. Are you hoping that this timeline, this video, will sort of quash any rumors out there in terms of what might have actually happened or calls for outside agencies to get involved in the investigation?
Listen, we work for the family. Our job is to give them the information on what we believe happened. I don't focus on outside interference. If anyone else wants to review this case, they can do so. Anything else? All right, thank y'all.
So you just heard the press conference. And from that, you heard what the sheriff said. If you've been following the story on my page, then you know his mom said he went to meet with his paternal side of the family for the first time and he never returned home. Now, the sheriff just provided their version of what they believe occurred, but many online are still debating about if he was kicked out of the car or if he had to use the bathroom and they pulled over. So someone made a post and they said, ain't no way I'm gonna ever kick my own family out of car while they tripping on anything. They didn't tell nobody. They didn't try and get help for him. No matter how stuff played out, nobody should make excuses for them boys. And then his paternal aunt, the same one from earlier, she said, kick him out or he had to use the bathroom and they pulled over. Bro, it's enough news on Facebook to read the real story. Nobody kicked him out, like, for real. What are your thoughts about this? You heard the sheriff and what he stated in the press conference and the timeline that was provided. 2:26 a.m., the cousin called his grandfather to let him know that Giovanni got out of the car. 2:27, he called Giovanni's mother, but she didn't answer. 6:50 a.m., the cousin called Giovanni's mom again and told her what had happened. 7:13, Giovanni's mom called 911 and requested for the operator to have deputies do a wellness check near where Giovanni got out the vehicle. Now, the trucker eventually ends up finding the backpack and the phone, and the mom saw her son's phone moving but didn't realize that a truck driver had it. She called the Tampa police, and an officer found the truck driver working and recovered the phone along with the backpack. Now, shortly before 9:30 a.m., the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, opened a missing persons case and contacted the County Sheriff's Office. On Friday, August the 8th, there was a body that was found, and we know that the body was found by his mom's friend that had came to Florida from North Carolina to help search for him. The body was positively identified as Giovanni on August the 14th. Now, as of right now, they're still waiting for the toxicology report, but from what the sheriff said is that he left. They have video footage showing, that he got out the car. They have video footage that supports that he was running. No one was chasing him. What are your thoughts about this case? Does this press conference change anything for you about this case? Drop your comments below and let me know. Now, I do want to share this. There was a Facebook group that was created for Giovanni. The Facebook group, I don't know if it still exists, but there were pictures that were going around about Giovanni. So the clip that you heard earlier, that is his aunt who was shutting down rumors. And what a comment said there was, he was a gangbanger. Another woman and I leaked that info 2 Fridays ago, and we were immediately suspended and then blocked from every single Giovanni Facebook group. Giovanni being a gang member, purchaser of stolen guns, and drug dealer is the secret life that led to Gio's untimely death. Now, of course, the sheriff's office did not indicate that. In fact, the sheriff's office said that he was texting with his cousins about smoking marijuana. He told his cousin, I hadn't smoked in a while, but sure, he did it. And when he did, something happened. You heard the reporter pose the question if they believe that something may have potentially been laced or anything. And the sheriff office, he doesn't want to speculate. They're waiting on the toxicology report to come in.
It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and I can't sleep because my family is defending my nephew, who is no longer with us, from, I'm not going to say what names, but there are certain people who are putting things out there that are not okay and is false information. And especially, how are you going to have a group that is about somebody who you support, but also bash an 18-year-old? I don't know how old this person is doing it, but right here, I will show and I will put in the comments, and I'm not going to put the person's name on there because I don't want to get sued for that, because I've already been told that I'm going to get sued. Anyways, so they're bashing on a page that is meant for support to my nephew, but they're saying bad things about my nephew being a gang member and in the Bloods and all that, doing drugs. My nephew, a few months ago, which I will leave right here, my nephew was just getting baptized and he just got saved. So, and I will leave all the comments right here from the text messages that my nephew has sent over time. It's not right and it's not okay. And we are just trying to grieve and mourn the loss. And so is my sister. And she's under immense stress right now. I just don't even understand why it has gotten to this point where now the support group page for my nephew is bashing my nephew. Like, that's not okay. So to end this off, basically, you can talk about me, you can talk about my cousins, you can talk about my sister, you can bash us all. Don't bash my nephew, especially when he's not here to defend himself. He's literally no longer with us. Please at least respect that.
If you haven't already done so, please be sure to like the video. Now I'm going to play a news clip of Giovanni's mother because this is the first time in this news clip that I heard that Giovanni actually texts his girlfriend as well for help. So have you previously heard this, or is this the first time that you've heard it as well? Listen to this.
The last they saw of him was him getting into the car. They were planning to pick him up on their way back to North Carolina. Instead, 20 minutes later, Bridget getting a text asking for help that she didn't see until that morning.
It felt like somebody was standing on my chest. It felt like I couldn't really breathe.
She immediately began searching and says after searches fizzled out from local law enforcement, it was her own friend who finally found Gio's body in a retention pond not far from where his phone and backpack were found off I-75.
And that day I searched by myself for hours, and no mother in the world should ever be in a situation where they're looking for their kid on the side of the road. I put myself in very dangerous situations trying to find answers.
She says she was told by the family he was with that he was left on the side of the road. She says those cousins spoke with investigators, but Bridget hasn't heard from them since.
Giovanni is very good at reading the room and picking up on people's intentions. And for him to have been gone for 20 minutes and to text that to 4 people, to myself, to my dad, to his aunt, and to his girlfriend, there's no reason he would have reached out if there wasn't something wrong.
Bridget promising to never stop fighting. They're bringing in their own medical team for an autopsy, hoping to one day get answers. In the meantime, Bridget will always be left wondering.
I don't know that I'll ever forgive myself for not getting that call. And the only thing that anybody else could do to help was just give me answers so that I don't have to go the rest of my life feeling like I failed and I wasn't able to show up for him when he needed